All right, we are live on Twitch. Yay. And for episode 6 of the Seedless Grapes Club, I'm Zach,
Hey,
and this
and
is.
I'm Dan.
There you go. Eventually we'll get there. Dan, how are you this week? Are you doing good, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great this week. I been taking care of myself, been exercising, eating right, sleeping, getting some social things going, hanging out with friends, girlfriends, family. It's been a good week. I feel like I've been if I had to rate myself as a human, I would say like A plus this week.
I
Yeah. What about
love.
you, Zach? What you doing?
I'm good. I started a new job on Monday, so yesterday I'm back to waiting tables, and really, I forgot how much I enjoy that. I honestly love it. And I was like, why did I ever leave this? And I remember why I got burned out and didn't take care of myself and was doing too much and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, no, it's like a diner, so my hours are like 7:30 to 3:30, which is like so nice. And like, yeah, I gotta get up early, but like I'm done. I'm home every day at 3:45, which is really nice to just be like done with my day and
That's
get to do this. And yeah, so I hired my twins to walk my dog during the day so that she's not all cooped up.
your, your twin nieces, you
My
mean?
twin nieces, yeah. Yeah, I don't have kids.
That's a smart thing. Man, 3:45, that makes me think of like 8th grade, like getting home
Catching
like
cartoons.
3:30, catching some Dragon Ball Z before mom got home at 4 o'clock and scalded me for watching anime.
Turn off that
Yeah.
devil
That
shit.
was
Did you know that Tsunami is coming back to Cartoon Network?
no way.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them. I'm glad. I feel like that was a big staple in my childhood.
Correct. All right, Dan. What's your did you know fact for the week?
So, Zach, I thought that rather than maybe relying on my own knowledge or Google or something unique, I thought I would share something I learned from my brother Jonathan, who is a neurologist at Baylor, and I spent a long weekend with him backpacking Eagle Rock Loop in Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to learn a lot about him just by nature of talking a lot when you're hiking and backpacking,
Right,
and
right,
I learned some things
right.
about self medication and self medicating that I wanted to share with you because it blew my mind. Um, so, one, did you know that Tylenol is based from a plant? So, just a plant compound. It's not like a chemical or anything we created. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Did you know? And it's actually been around for 100 years or so, or a couple hundred years, and it was commercialized in the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike aspirin, like aspirin, you put together, you build in a lab.
Sure.
It's pretty simple, like you can do it in college. But acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, we don't actually know how it works.
That I did know. I did know that like we
Really?
just kind of it kind of just works, and we're not really sure how.
Yeah. Yeah. So hearing that from my brother, who is a brain doctor,
Brain
and
doctor.
he's like, "Yeah, we don't know how Tylenol works." I was like, "What? Can you prescribe this?" And he's like, "Yeah, and only here in the United States mainly because it's actually banned in Europe. Because if you take too much Tylenol, you're at risk of damaging your liver, like
Mm-hmm.
seriously bad, like way
Yeah.
worse than alcoholism." And I know they say that as a warning on the bottle, but it's like the real deal. So much so that like the EU has banned Tylenol, which blew my mind. Also,
So is that why you're
since
not
we're
supposed to
on the
take Tylenol and alcohol together?
correct,
Shit.
yes, that is exactly why.
Oh
Yeah, you
no.
should take ibuprofen, but you can't take you have to take ibuprofen with food, or it'll give you stomach ulcers. And aspirin, in the continuation of this 2 hour long conversation about like over the counter pain medication with my brother, aspirin, um, it is actually not a blood thinner. It's called a blood thinner, but it is not a blood thinner. It doesn't actually thin the blood, which is like making it more viscous so it flows faster. Because if it did, it would have a whole lot of other complications and you'd probably die.
Right, right,
And
right,
so
right,
what
right.
it actually does right? Like when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It's actually an anticoagulant that inhibits
Oh,
blood platelets from sticking together.
oh, that sounds worse. That sounds significantly worse. What is this?
I know,
Oh,
right?
it
Yeah.
doesn't. You'll just bleed out. It's fine. Just don't take too much of it.
Lastly, on this long did you know train, I figured it was somewhat related to health, so I wanted to go there. Lastly, so related to pain and headaches, of which you would take these medicines for. We don't know the cause of most headaches. Like
Sure, that makes sense.
outside of dehydration, lack of rest, bright lights, like hangovers. Like if you go to a doctor for headaches, they don't know what's causing them more often than not. And you get a CAT scan, MRI, they have a very hard time helping you and figuring out what it is that actually is causing your headaches. And so most of the time they prescribe like lifestyle adjustments, like get more sleep, drink more water, exercise, eat less processed foods, those sort of things. But I thought that was really strange that like this man who spent 4 years in pre-med, 4 years in medical school, 4 years in internship and residency, and now meets with dozens of people every day about their headaches, is literally saying, I have all of this knowledge and I cannot help you. Like, and take this compound that I don't know how it works. Like all of this stuff blew my mind.
Coming from your brother,
Isn't that right?
that's like amazing. I love that like Jonathan's just like, man, I don't know. Because like Jonathan would be like,
Yeah.
well, the statistical analysis of the subplot and the blah blah blah. Like be always very like dry and like monotone.
I know. I think he used to be that way, but I think the more he's learned and experienced, the more he's like, oh, we actually don't know anything. And he just like, I don't know, maybe it's freeing in a way, but that's my did you know? What you got for me, Zach?
Did you know that in 1527, the Holy
I love history.
Roman Empire ran out of money, basically. I mean, this is a very compacted like version of this, and teamed up with Spain to conquer the city of Rome, or yeah, the city of Rome, because their goal was to capture the Pope and then ransom him to the rest of Europe so that they could get some money. And yeah, so they would have been successful and so okay, so eventually the Pope is captured, but not in the sack of 1527 because there were 189 I just want to get this right. It's I said it wrong the other day. Swiss royal guards who were in charge of defending the Pope. There was like 5,000 more men, but like these 189 were specifically designated as like the Pope's royal bodyguards. And so about 45, 44, anywhere between 40 and 45, the accounts say, ran him from the St. Peter's Basilica to like this Castellan that was like impenetrable. So like they're like, if we can get you to this alternate location, you'll be fine. We need about 30 to 45 minutes to do that. So the other 140 took on, the accounts vary, but there were 20,000 enemy soldiers within the city at this time. Like Rome's population at the beginning of the sack was like 45 to 50,000. At the end of the sack, it was like 5,000. So like a lot of people died and a lot of people ran away. So the 144 Swiss guards stood their ground on like the steps of St. Peter's Basilica and held off anywhere between 1,000 and 20,000 enemy soldiers so that the 44 could get the Pope to safety. And I just think that's so fucking cool. And these guys were like equipped with like half plate and like pole arms, like halberds and stuff like that. So like prime defending stair implements.
How? Okay, I did not know that, and my first thought is, they need to turn that into a movie.
Oh yeah, they do.
Like that sounds like 300, except add a money heist. Except instead of a money heist, it's a Pope heist. Like all the odds out there, you know, it'd be so great.
And so I
There's a scene where he's
believe,
like, this is Basilica.
yeah.
Kicks him, you know.
So still today, there is Swiss guards that are responsible for mostly ceremonial at this point, but guarding the Pope. So like you can still like you can see like photos of these guys, and they're really cool. And they induct their new members on May. I want to get the date right. May 6th every year to commemorate the sacrifice of the 144 that stood their ground to like buy them time. And I was just like, what a cool fucking last stand. Like, could you imagine me like, all right, we need a plan. This is not going to be a good plan. We need some number of you to run the Pope down to this thing, this fortification, and then we need the rest of you guys to die. Because they knew they weren't making it out.
That's like Aragorn and the King of Rohan, like Theoden right there. Ride out with me.
Yeah.
Like just like riding out like an army of 10,000.
Yeah.
It's like literally what I'm picturing to get them to that basilica. That's wild.
Yeah, well, so it was like an elevated walkway that they had to like take him down. So it was like exposed. Like if you like were looking at the right time, you're like, oh, that's the Pope. Holy shit, that's the guy we need to get. But he eventually was captured later, not on May, I think. But it's also like really funny to me that like the Holy Roman Emperor and Spain teamed up to capture the Pope.
Yeah.
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 So basically, the Germans and the Spanish got together and they're like, let's rob the Pope.
I mean, yeah. When you got money issues.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's just. Yeah. Go ahead.
In the next segment of Wheel of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, normally it'd be fun to like pick on your knowledge gaps. And I think that's kind of what we made it about. But I was like, man, what does Zach know really well? And what can I like think and like really see if he knows it very well?
Okay.
So today, my question centers around how well do you know Doctor Who?
Okay. I would say like if you're sticking if this is a question about anything related to Jodie Whittaker, I am fucked. Because I didn't watch any of that shit. But if it's about the rest of it, I think I'm gonna smash it.
What if it's related to the real world?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive about my chances here.
Okay. So Zach, with a jalapeno pepper on the line, true or false?
Okay.
Former Doctor, my favorite Doctor, Peter Capaldi, is related to pop star Lewis Capaldi.
I don't think so. I would think that would have come up in like interviews and such. So Peter Capaldi does know how to play the guitar, and that's like it runs in families, like musical inclination. I would say guitars run in families. So Lewis Capaldi, I've never even heard of Lewis Capaldi. He said he's a musician.
Yeah, he's been like he's swept from like I don't know. He's actually put out hits just about every year outside of this year.
Is he in a band? Or is he like a solo artist?
Solo artist.
Okay, I'm gonna stand by. No,
Taylor.
They are not related.
Okay. Would you like to do Double or Nothing?
I would not like to do Double or Nothing.
Okay. So Peter Capaldi, who played the 11th Doctor,
right,
is Lewis Capaldi's dad's second cousin.
Fuck off!
Technically second cousins.
I'm so glad that your questions are fucking hard too. Okay, here's my question. Here's my question about your question. Do they know they're related? Like, I thought like
Yes. Peter even featured in one of Lewis's music videos. So they do. You know, I love how microphone like isolation, voice isolation is so advanced that I can only like hear your words, but I really wish I could like hear all of the crunching and munching and the pain behind the jalapeno eating.
all right, Dan. Benjamin Sisko.
Wait, who?
Benjamin Sisko, the captain of the USS Defiant from Star Trek. They had a second ship. The first Defiant got destroyed. They were given another Defiant class ship, but it was originally called what? And then it was changed to the Defiant. They renamed it to the Defiant.
So you got me on two big missing pieces of information.
Okay.
Which is who is Benjamin from Star Trek and what is the Defiant?
I love it. You've seen DS9. You've seen Deep Space Nine.
Yeah. Is that really what that's from?
Uh-huh.
Benjamin's the
captain.
the spaceship captain of the station.
Yep, and then he also got the
And
Defiant.
He was the captain of the Defiant, and then he moved to DS9.
No. He was a first officer on a different vessel, got stationed as the commander of DS9, got promoted to captain, got given the Defiant. The first Defiant got destroyed in a battle. They gave him another ship, same classification, but it was originally called not the Defiant, and then they renamed it to the Defiant. So what was the name that it originally was before they renamed it to the Defiant?
Was this in the show?
Oh,
was it
yeah.
like a movie scene.
No, this is in the show.
It was in the show?
Yep.
Man, why didn't they like
It was the Jem'Hadar blew up his ship.
I feel like the Malignant. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I just don't know it.
Would it help you if I told you it was named after a city? At least narrows it down.
No. Wait. Like a modern day city or a city from Star Trek?
A modern day city. You got me so bad last week. I was like, "Oh, I'm bringing my A game."
I'm gonna call it the Chicago. I don't know.
Great guess. That is wrong. It was called the Sao Paulo.
What? The Sao Paulo? What? Gosh dang it! All right. So what's the trick here? You just
All in one go.
First pepper.
All in one go.
Just all in one go. Oh God.
If it makes you feel better, the first one is not the rough one. The second one is significantly harder.
Go.
Hey, your cat just came in the room. So, while you're finishing that up, my topic for this week is venturing into the realm of conspiracy theories, because I think this is a I believe that there could be the possibility that this is true. I don't think it's true. However, I'm gonna lead you down. You doing okay? Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your eyes. So in 2004, NASA discovered a asteroid that would later go on to be renamed Apophis. So it is asteroid 99942. It is approximately 1,100 feet in diameter. So to put that into perspective, the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs is estimated to be 14 to 15 miles long. So this is not a planet killer. However, if it would impact Earth, it would destroy several hundred kilometers. Like, this would be one of the biggest nuclear bombs that we currently have access to. Like, it would be massive. So, in 2021, after it was discovery, in 2004, when they discovered it, they went, holy shit, this thing might hit Earth. And by might hit Earth, it was pretty high odds. Like, they were like, holy crap, it's gonna projected to hit us in 2029. Wait, is that right? 2020? Yes, 2029. So they were like, it's going to hit us in 2029. They were like more certain of that than to miss. And then in 2021, they did some more math. It got adjusted to, okay, it's not going to hit us. However, it's going to be about 30,000 kilometers away. So to put that in perspective,
I feel like that's not a lot in space.
Well, to put that in perspective, that's under our geosynchronous satellites. Like, it will, Earth, geosynchronous satellites, Apophis. That's how it's fucking close. So,
and they're still thinking 2029.
2029. It has a 7-year orbit around us. So, every 7 years, there is the potential for it to come close enough to hit us. So in 2029, they're like, it might hit us, kind of thing. But then they did some additional math. They're like, oh wait, no, it's just gonna be really close. So on 2029, hold on one second. So in 2029, there is a 1 in 1 million chance that it threads what they call a keyhole to where then in 7 years after that, so 2036, if it does that keyhole thread, it will hit us. So there's a 1 in 1 million chance that it will hit us in not this go round, but the next go round. So, it wouldn't destroy the planet, and we know about it so far in advance that we could potentially deflect it any number of ways that we could do this. We could hit it with a large missile. We could fly a satellite close enough to it that it just over a course of a year of that satellite being nearby it would change the trajectory enough to where it would deflect and not hit us. So there's a lot that can be done, even if on 2029 or in 2029 they're like, yep, it threaded the keyhole, it's going to hit us. So there's still a lot that could be done, even if they were confident that it was going to hit us. So here's where the conspiracy comes in. Conspiracy theory. If you were the United States government and NASA came to you and said, hey, not an asteroid that is 1,100 feet long, let's say it's 100 miles wide, which, could be. So that would destroy the planet as we know it. And they're like, yeah, it's going to not hit us in 2027, but it's going to hit us in 2039. And everything that we've attempted to do thus far has led to the unsuccessful deflection of this thing. It's coming, It's going to hit us, and there's nothing we can do about it. You, as the United States government, would not release that information. You would keep that to yourself because literally, like, everything would come to a screeching halt. Like, everyone would just, like, it's like there's the movie Don't Look Up. Like, everyone just, like, stopped being productive and just, like, we're like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my family because the world's going to end. So it's like, and even if it wasn't, like, a world-ending catastrophe, even if it was still that 1,100 feet diameter, the United States government or the world governments are not going to tell us about this if there's nothing they can do to deflect it. But, like, so does that seem like, put yourself in the shoes of the U.S. government? Does that seem likely to you?
I want your take on this before you hear mine. So, does it seem likely to you?
Yeah, I think. Well, so part of me says no. Like, all the scientists that are reporting on this, like, that seems like a really big secret to keep under wraps. Like, I think currently in 2027 it's not gonna, or 2029 it's not gonna hit us. And even if it did thread that keyhole, I do think that there's a lot that can be done to deflect it. So I think that if they were going to be able to deflect it, they would, and that would be a mission that would be announced. Like, they could redirect the Artemis series of launches away from the moon and redeploy that to intercept, deflect, or change the trajectory of that. There's been a few recent attempts or recent successes where they've actually, like, landed an object on an asteroid, collected a sample, and then taken off. And that radically changed the trajectory of that asteroid. It wasn't nearly as big as this one, and it's still, I mean, this Apophis is still relatively small. So, no, I don't think it's going to hit us this go round, and I don't think it's going to hit us the next go round. But this is a recurring thing that's going to happen every 7 years. The chance and possibility that it could. So it's like, maybe eventually it does. And, like, but every 7 years that we progress past this current 7 years, our technology is getting better and better. And our ability to launch more and more sophisticated, satellites, rockets, shuttles, all sorts of different things gets better. But I was just like, if it was going to hit us and it was way bigger than they're saying it was, the lie makes way more sense than anything else to me.
Yeah, so my take is that I think independent astronomers would also be able to pick up on this and verify it and find out.
Sure.
And, like, I think the reason that breaks is because there are ways to corroborate it outside of that source. And you're talking that you mentioned the U.S. government, but, like, assuming Russia, China, Europe has also seen this.
That's a big secret to keep.
Big secret to keep. Trump would know about it. I mean, come on. Like, we would have found out. Like, I think that conspiracies work really well when it is limited to one government, like the lunar landing. The reason that's so big is because, hey, it was just a small group of people within the U.S. at a certain decade where, like, that technology was really limited for, like, verifying that sort of thing. But, like, all the other countries were outside of that. Nobody else could figure out or corroborate if we did or did not.
Well, so pause real quick. They all corroborated it. They were all able to do so. They all, like, even the USSR at the time were like, yep, they landed on the moon. And, like, our literal biggest enemy in the world was like, yeah, they did that.
That's awesome then. I love that. And so even in that case, if they were able to corroborate it, like, I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't see us not knowing about that as a human species.
Because one scientist would be like, hey, this thing is going to kill us.
Yeah, and also, like, NASA scientists, I mean, everyone has families. Like, they all have families. They're all thinking about this. They're all planning. They're all thinking. It's like, I don't see how that would not get out.
I agree.
It would just
I
be
think
it's too big.
it's more of I think it's more of a silly idea, but like I was just like it came up on my like For You page again, and I was like, yeah, because Neil deGrasse Tyson has talked about it a lot, and he was like
Really?
talking about like the keyhole, and like the chances, and like he was like, yeah, like but people pay lottery tickets, and like the odds are way worse, so like it could like he's like this could legitimately hit us, and his point was like, but we know about it far enough in advance that like we could deflect it, and we have the technology to do so. It's just like, so, it was more, but I was like, man, like what if it was going to hit us and there's nothing we could do about it, and it was a whole lot bigger than what they're saying it was. But like I couldn't go out with a telescope that you could purchase and see this thing. You had to have like really sophisticated technology to identify its location. Yeah. It will be like a 3.8 magnitude visibility when it does pass us. So like you will be able to see it. I mean, it'll be like a whoop. It'll be like any like falling star that you've seen. But it's just like it's out there. It's such a funny thing. Like it's out there. It's gonna be an issue. Like it'll be a reoccurring thing every 7 years. And eventually it won't hit us or it will, but like as it becomes more unlikely that it won't, no, as it becomes more unlikely that it wouldn't hit us, that the likelihood of it not hitting us increases every time it misses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like eventually, like after like 150 or 200 whatever years, this is going to be a non-issue. 210 years, because like it either will or it won't. But then like that, the likelihood gets better for us. But like
that's good.
It was just funny. Like it just made me like want to rewatch like Don't Look Up, because like that's a very silly movie, but also like a very like realistic movie of like. What would happen if
very sad movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the world ends. Like that's like there's a lot of those movies like Searching for a Friend for the End of the World. Have you seen that? It's Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway.
Oh, that's the movie I thought you were talking about.
No, so so that movie, like there's no attempt to like they didn't or the attempt is not the important issue. The Don't Look Up is Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill.
I remember that movie. I did not watch that one when it came out, but I heard it was good.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's worth watching. I would say it's definitely worth watching.
Oh man, my stomach hurts.
Well, hopefully you get
my nose is leaking.
Hopefully you get this next one right. You want to go first? I mean, that's the end of my topic. I just thought it was I wanted to be a little bit more lighthearted this week because I've been real heavy the last couple. So let's just talk about the end of the world, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it is really interesting. I think, yeah. I don't know. I heard this one thing where like they're saying there are a lot of ways to like debunk conspiracy theories like logically, without like having to know a lot about it. But one of them, there's like 5 big tells. One of them is like, is this negatively impacting the wealthy people? Like, if your conspiracy theory is true, is it impacting the top 1% of the 1%? If yes, it's likely not true. That's kind of what I heard.
Well, Mark Zuckerberg did build a bunker recently.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something he knows, man.
Yeah, and like
I feel like that dude's.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got.
Why not?
He's got a lot of money, but like maybe this is the reason that Elon is like really pushing for like SpaceX shit.
I think that dude even 10 years ago was pushing for what it was EVs going to Mars and
like that's
solar.
That's in line with the timeline.
Like renewables. Huh?
That's in line with the timeline. 10 years ago was 2024. This was discovered it's 2024 now. 10 years ago is 2014. 20 years before that, like that's 04. Maybe he knew.
You just mismathed 3 times in a row.
10 years ago is 2024. 10 years before that is 04. What am I saying wrong here?
Yes. 10 years before 2024 was 2014. 10 years, not 20, before that was 2004.
Right, so 20 years ago is 2004.
Yes.
Okay, I said it right in my brain, at least.
Okay, all right.
Just as long as it's in my brain. My brain!
All right, Zach. What's
Oh, you're up.
what's your next question?
Oh, you want me to go first for Wheel of Pain? Or do you... Okay, so,
Yeah.
you know...
I'm leading the next topic. Why don't I go first if I have to eat something?
Okay, so there are two sports in which there is the term field goal. Football is one of them. What is the other one?
Ooh, uh, rugby?
Would you like to go double or nothing?
No.
You are incorrect. It is basketball.
What? There's
Yeah.
a field goal in basketball?
Uh-huh.
How? What? Wait.
It's
is
like
this a commonly known thing?
Mike
Do I just know?
Mike McCullough told me this when I was 16. That's the only reason I know this. He's like, "Oh, he scored a field goal," and I was like, "Are we talking about basketball still?"
What is a field goal in basketball?
Let me pull it up. A field goal in basketball is a basket scored on any shot or tap other than a free throw worth 2 or 3 points depending.
So when you score a point, really any time outside of a free throw, it's called a field goal.
Correct.
Why do they not call it that?
I don't know.
And why is it not a court goal? They're not playing on a field. Like they're playing on a court. Like football makes sense. Rugby, that makes sense.
Right. Pepper.
Well, now I know to go with my monster of a question for you. I had two ready for you. I had an easy one and a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not happy.
Is it immediately worse?
Not yet.
Okay. Maybe you got a dud.
Oh, it took it was still accelerating 5 minutes into it. And it got stuck in my teeth. I had to pick out the seeds and it was worse.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we do this?
For the views.
Oh.
I'm ready for my question.
All right, Jack. I can't see my screen. Oh my god, it's so bad.
Don't touch your face.
You were right, the second one's worse.
It's so much worse. Don't throw up. I'm so glad that I got you this go around. You double dodged last week. Oh.
Be right back.
Okay. We're gonna take a short break.
that was unbearable. Oh, it's still there. Fudge.
Your nipples are hard.
Spell chauffeur.
Okay.
What? Are you Googling it?
No, I'm just typing so I can spell it.
There's a tear. I don't know if you can tell.
Chauffeur. Chauffeur. No. It's French. Show. Sure. Show. What is it? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I've got C H A U F E U R. Okay. Yeah. That so C H A U F E U R. C H A U F E U R. Is there an E at the end? Okay, I'm gonna go with CHAUFEUR.
Would you?
E.
You
No.
like to double or
No E. No E. No E. CHAUFEUR. No, of course not. There's no way I got this right. Two F's?
Two F's.
Fuck.
It's two F's. Yes.
In chauffeur. All right, now I'm Googling it. For.
I don't know how I could have done another one. I think I would have thrown up.
Oh yeah, look at that. CHAUFFEUR.
You wouldn't
Well-
do that. I need a Kleenex.
I mean, at least it was closer than last week. Whew. All right, I dodged the bullet on the second. Oh, no. Yikes, that's hot.
The second one was so much worse. You were not lying.
I was like, there's no way Dan knows what a field goal is.
I thought I had it with rugby, man.
Are you prepared for your topic?
I am.
All right.
So Zach, today I wanted to talk about a little. I don't know if it's lighthearted or less hearted than last time. but I liked your take on less serious things. Although this one is, I think, an important topic for like just in general, and I'm curious your thoughts too, and just to talk about it. 'Cause I think it's kind of nuanced, but I want to talk about change versus growth in relationships, and not even just like romantic relationships, but even friendships.
Mm.
Um, oh, for me, the reason what prompted this was I'm always very like, you know me, I'm pretty accommodating, I'm pretty flexible, I'm pretty like eager to want to like do things for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so for me, I was like, in a lot of cases, I'm very happy to change in a relationship. Um, but what I'm noticing is that if somebody needs you to change, and this was my blind spot, in the big bad relationship. I think if somebody needs you to change, um, they're better off moving on somewhere else. If you need someone else to change for you to accept them, very likely, um, I think that even if they make that change, you're still not going to accept them.
Can
And
you define the level of severity? Because I would tend to agree, and then I also don't. But I think it all comes down to like how severe or what is the I think it's a case by case basis. Like what is the change that is required here?
yeah, I think like if you look at it from a relationship, like if your wife wanted you to change,
Mm-hmm.
uh, maybe it was more that like, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask the question about is like, what is the difference between change versus growth?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between, hey, like I need you to stop doing this versus, hey, I want what's best for you. There are a lot of people and relationship experts out there that they say focusing on the difficult parts or the hard parts or the parts that you want to change in your spouse is actually really only going to lead to resentment on both ends. And the better route is to unconditionally accept your partner while supporting them and growth in their journey. And I think that's pretty like difficult. I think the first argument against that would be like, okay, well, like, how does that protect me from being taken advantage of, or protect me from somebody who isn't wanting to grow or isn't wanting to change? I just have to accept them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think it can get difficult. But I think for me and where I'm coming from is like I did a lot of things to change in my relationship, and there were some things that I was happy to change,
Right.
but there were some things that I wasn't so happy to change. Um, and I think even though I changed those things, it built resentment inside of me.
Mm-hmm.
But even the things that I did do happily, which I would call growth,
Right.
I think in the end it still wasn't enough for that person to love me or accept me because they didn't ever accept me in the first place. And so I think that's true in a lot of friendships too. I think the people you become closer with or the people that you just sort of go away from, it really depends on like if you just need them to change or not need them to change. But I think needing somebody else to change in order for you to accept them is a big red flag in any relationship. And I think you're better off just
Going your
like
separate ways.
finding someone else, whether it's a friend or a girlfriend or a wife, like finding someone else who more matches up and aligns with where with your preferences or what you need out of a partner. For example, um, like say someone isn't taking care of their body, and that matters to you in a relationship. You should probably find somebody else who is doing those things, because forcing that person to work on themselves in that way might only build resentment if they are not happy to do that themselves. And I think maybe that is the difference between change and growth. Is growth is change that you are willingly wanting to produce inside of yourself, whereas change I would define as, hey, I am doing this for someone else and not myself. Um, and I think there are a lot of relationships out there where like, hey, like in that particular example, like taking care of your body isn't necessarily a high priority, and it's not something that like that person needs to change in a relationship, and like those people are happy and in love and love each other in spite of that. And the examples are across the board, like, I don't know, job, education, like how you live your life. There's a lot of things out there that you prefer or want to see in somebody else, and if you're not matching up, you're better off just kind of moving on, I guess.
Yeah, I think I
That's my
totally
thought.
disagree with you.
Really?
I
I'm
think
glad that you do.
I think it's important. Hi, Theo. Hi, puppy. Hold on. We need a puppy break. Hi, Nook. Oh. Go downstairs. Go see mommy. Yeah, I think I like totally disagree. Can you take her with you? Yeah, I won this time. Um, I would say I probably like totally disagree. And
Right.
let's say, would you quit making noise?
Love you.
Love you too.
Hey Dan, if he gets stuff wrong, you're not gonna be the one who pays for it.
Oh, I've already passed my pepper test. They weren't that bad. Go away.
Okay, I'm just saying
I
the
love you.
spicy poops.
Okay. Yeah, I would tend to like completely disagree. And so like because and maybe it's because like the relationship you're specifically referencing it was from a place of control rather than a place of love.
Yeah.
And so like if Hannah came to meet my wife, who just interrupted us, if she came to me and was like, hey, for the sake of our marriage, for us to be happy, I'm going to pick something that she would never say so that I don't get in trouble. I need you to go to church with me. I would be like, all right, let's do it. And
you don't build resentment inside of you, even though you're a big like atheist.
yeah, I think if we go a step further and she said, I need you to believe in God, that would be really rough. That'd be really tough for me to be like, okay, like, cool. Like, because I mean, anything I do, I take seriously. And so I wouldn't just say, yeah, I can do that specifically for you. Like, I think there's things that I can fundamentally change about myself, and there's things that I can't. Because, like, if you caught the deconstruction episode last week, I really came down to the fact that, like, there's no faith belief in me. And so, therefore, like, Christianity just doesn't make any sense. But if she said, I need you to make an effort, I need you to go and give it your best shot, and I need you to, like, attend church. And even if she was like, I need you to attend a men's Bible study, because I think it would make our relationship better, I'd be like, I can try. I can definitely try to do that. I cannot promise that I will, like, find salvation. And likewise, I think if she was like, hey, I think you're drinking too much. And if she was like, I need you to take some time off from alcohol, I'd be like, all right, cool. Because I think that one specifically, fundamentally, I know that I would be healthier for it. And so like that's like hitting on your, like, that would be what I would consider growth. I'm trying to think like if there's other things that she could say to me that she was like, if she said, I need you to fundamentally change X about you, I would try. I would try anything because our relationship is very important. And like, and even with the big last one that I had, the big last relationship that I had, she asked me to change a lot about myself. And I don't recall resenting her. I just recall being concerned that there was so much that she was asking me to change, to the point where I was like, am I the right person for her? But like, that wasn't the reason that we parted ways.
I think so. I guess I don't want to say resentment, but that thought right there is part of it. It's, man, now a completely different person than who I am and who I know I am, and that is a bad outcome for you,
Yeah.
whether it's resentment or not. Whether it's just like I can't identify with myself anymore. But you mentioned like a big thing. It's the alcohol thing, the example you mentioned. I would say that would be growth because you would align with that change that she's presenting. Because every relationship needs change, but it's more about supporting each other in that relationship, in ways that you both desire and in ways you can both get on board with and support and
Mm-hmm.
move forward with. Whereas like getting you to believe in God or being connected with other men in a men's group, like you said you would try, but like if she needs that to succeed and you can't, then like,
Mm-hmm.
does she really love you before that? Or
Yeah,
like,
because it would
was she
be
really
that would
happy with you
be
before?
that would be a fundamental change in who I am.
Right. Yeah. And so eventually you make all these things, and if you develop into a person who you're not initially, then it's, wait, was I actually loved to begin with? Right?
Yeah, I think you
Because
would have
I
to
think that's that
review this
big part.
like
Like,
case by case basis cuz like
yeah.
she's been like, "Hey, you leave beard stubble in the sink. I hate it. I don't do that anymore." Like that's such a small, but that's not like I don't think that's what you're talking about. That's like you're talking
No.
about fundamental
Yeah.
alterations to the your core identity.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm. So you would say that things that you would consider growth oriented, you would say those are positive things to like make a change towards. But things that
Yeah.
a partner or a person is requesting you change just because of maybe their preference should not be altered.
Yes.
Then I agree with that. I
Hmm.
think
I also think, well, I think maybe there's another layer underneath that too, because I think if you can, like, I think you and I talked about this once upon a time, like just, I can't even remember what it was regarding or the overall topic, but like if you can find a way to like align and both have the same goal in mind for whatever change is trying to be introduced, if you and that person can get on the same page about it and agree to it, like that's growth.
mm,
But if you're unaligned and you're at an impasse but you're still doing it,
mm-hmm,
that's unhealthy. And hey, I cannot become spiritual. I don't see the need to go to church.
mm-hmm,
I don't understand why it's important for you, for me, for you to go to church, right? I don't see why that's important. I don't see why it's important that I don't learn or continue to learn, or I don't like go run instead of ride my bike, or
yeah,
or don't lift weights and run instead. Like I don't see why that's important for me, whatever the topic is.
right.
Um, like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, I think if it's like, yeah, yeah, I would agree. That's a,
So then what happens though? What happens if you have like something you might need for that person to change and you can't get on the same page about it?
I think you have to just accept that they're going to be different than the way that you want them to be, and that you can just love them through that. I mean, I think you can have differences in relationships and still make it work. I don't think you have to be. I don't think you have to be in lockstep alignment on like everything with a partner. I think you can disagree, but like you can only go so far with that because like if you fundamentally disagree on like everything, that's gonna create a whole new set of problems that like it's gonna be resentment for a different reason.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I think if you do have a whole bunch of things, I mean, you're probably not getting that far into a friendship in the first place if there's a whole bunch of things, right?
I don't know, man. Like I've been in relationships that the sex was just really good, and you're just like, well, I guess we're just, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, but like, why not, right? That was a big old red flag that I should have not.
I had this friend recently whose energy was the most like exorbitant, extroverted, like could literally control an entire room kind of person. And I just like fell in love with that. I was like, this guy's so cool. And like we like everywhere we went, we would talk to like everybody at the entire bar and like get free drinks and all this stuff.
Yep.
And I loved it so much that I like ignored all the like red flags of
Yeah.
like the toxicity that person had until like a few months later
Yeah.
after I had terrible consequences to that. So
Yeah, no kidding.
I resonate there.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, but like some people make it work. Like some people are very different from their partners or very like, I don't know. I think of like Fleetwood Mac, the band that like literally hated each other. But they're like, but we also make really good music. And so, like, we can set aside our differences and just not, like, it can just be exclusively professional. And we can make some of the best music ever.
Wow.
Like, they went, like, years without talking outside of, like, band stuff. Like, they were not friends, like, in real life. And, like...
Also, some couples get off on the dysfunction too. Gets them going.
Yeah, I just think that they're tricking themselves. I think
so too.
I remember like I had a coworker like right after college being like, me and my boyfriend always fight and I love it. And I'm like, but do you? Do you really love it? Or do you not just want to like be different, like in a different relationship? And they like broke up like 6 months later. And I was like, see?
Yeah.
I feel like you're just tricking yourself.
It was told to me. I don't understand how this logic gets around, but it's popular in like conservative and nuclear families and whatnot, and I don't know what, but they're like, a relationship should never be comfortable, and I was like, and I lived by that. 25 years of my knowledge about relationships was built on that, and then, you know, as I got older, I was noticing a lot of relationships where people are comfortable. And I'm like, that sounds a lot nicer and better than being in a place of discomfort. Like consistency.
Yeah, I mean, if you
understand how that knowledge prevails. Like, and that's where I think it's like growth is necessary, but like you can be comfortable and still grow, right? Those are not mutually exclusive options. And I think that's like what a lot of that advice or mentality gets twisted behind is they associate comfort with laziness or lax in a relationship, which I don't agree with, but there's a big difference between comfort and peace rather than like laziness and apathy, you know?
Yes. I think you can be comfortable in making incremental gains. You can also be lazy and be complacent. I think comfortable and complacent are not the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Because comfortable is like, I feel like I'm in a good spot. I'm not stressed out about like how you feel about me. Like, yeah. I worked at a restaurant where you were never comfortable because you never knew when chef was just going to like rip you a new one.
Oof.
But I've also worked in restaurants that was like, everyone's cool and everyone's chill, but like you're progressively making steps to be better. So it's like that. Yeah. There's the comfort of like, I don't know. I think me and Hannah do a really good job of like instilling like, I love you no matter what. We need to do X, Y, and Z better because like we're not, as a couple, we're not doing that well right now. I think that's the right way to like, yeah, I think that's the right way to tackle that because like, it's a reality of what's going on. It's like, we're not holding each other accountable in cleaning or whatever. Like that was like the most recent thing that we had a tiff about. It's like the house needs to be clean and it's like, it shouldn't always be one person's responsibility to motivate that engagement. So it's like, you know, and I look at the house and I've got a stack of that are my dishes. I can see him right now, and it's like I need to be responsible for doing that. And so it's like yeah. So it's like no one's perfect, but like I think there's a lot of difference between like coming together and being like we want to work on these items together, as opposed to like you need to do this because I tell you to do this. I think that's the big.
I feel like I agree. I feel like we're really probably unpacking a lot of like what
Dan trauma.
marital counselors, huh?
Dan trauma.
And trauma. Well, I feel like, I've observed a family member of mine, like they had a marriage that was very dysfunctional, and I've seen it transform into something that is very functional and loving and amazing. And some of the tidbits that they're implementing, that they're telling me they've gotten from their counseling and from their therapists, have been related to that. It's the like, I love you no matter what, but we need to work on this. It's not like you.
We both need to do this.
It's also not huh?
Yeah, no, I should agree with you.
Yeah, and then what was the other big one? Like the like accepting and loving them unconditionally.
Yeah, I think
at the root. Also,
like change is incremental. Like I don't expect this to get better overnight. But also like you can't just not change. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough one. It's like you don't get in my mind, like you don't get brownie points or like you don't get good stuff because like 6 months ago you weren't doing anything and then like 3 months ago you did a little bit and now we're 3 months past that and you haven't done anything again. So it's like, yeah, but you gotta be like consistent with it, I would say. Because then it's not growth. You're just stagnating.
Exactly. Right. Man, I'm glad we talked about this topic.
Me too, man.
Thanks for fleshing that out with me.
Yeah, I think as long as you're just both on the same page, I think that's like really what it comes down to. Of like, your girlfriend listens to this podcast, so I don't know if I can like necessarily go there. Hi, Aaron. How's it going? You can call me and we can talk about it together, Aaron.
Ooh, can't wait. Can't wait to hear what that is.
You know what it is. I just don't want to talk about it on this specific instance. It's your third nipple, Dan.
Yeah, we can't let other people know about that.
Shh, don't tell anyone. I'm going to get a phone call from your girlfriend.
Zach, it was great eating jalapenos with you today rather than just watching you eat them.
I'm so happy that like you got to experience the pain that I had to endure last week. I guarantee you it wasn't as bad as mine was last week. I had like super jalapenos, I think.
God. So you were like, the first one was very uncomfortable. Got some nose runs, got a little sweat, like. But I mean, I just had some Gatorade and I was good. The second one, like, man, I had to like triple up. I needed like milk, Gatorade, Kleenexes. Like I was crying. I was sweating. That was bad. That was really bad.
Makes me so happy.
I like contemplated my life choices for a quick second.
Yeah, so I feel like this is an ever escalating like battle between the two of us because like you got off scot-free last week. I got you this week. I still got this week, but like I feel like you're gonna be like, ooh, well, fuck you, bitch.
I don't know. I did. That was my second question. I always have a middle finger in my back pocket for you, but
that was the easy question. I thought that was the hard question. What was the hard question?
Oh, the hard one.
Yeah.
The hard one was chauffeur.
Yeah, what was the medium question?
You would not. The median question was, oh man, it was which blockbuster movie from last year was the most recent Doctor in? Oh, would you not have known that one either?
Which blockbuster from 2023?
Yeah. Hint, summer of 2023. the new Doctor Who was starred in that movie?
It's gotta be Matt Smith. It's gotta be Matt Smith.
No, the active Doctor Who actor. What's his name?
I don't even know. Shofi Kapapapam?
Jodie Whittaker.
It's not Jodie Whittaker because that's a female person.
After.
I don't even know what his name is. I haven't watched any of that.
Really?
No.
Nudie. Oh man, how do you say his first name?
Shooty. It's a silent.
No,
it's a Shooty
Gatwa.
He was in a
was a
Blockbuster.
Yeah, he was a Ken in Barbie.
He was a Ken in Barbie.
Yeah, you don't remember him? He was one of my favorite Kens. Yeah.
What?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh. Now I see he had blonde hair. That doesn't count.
Did he?
He did.
I don't think he did.
He totally did. It was like really, really short, but yes, it is blonde.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is blonde.
Speaking of Matt Smith, have you watched House of the Dragon?
Oh yeah, Aaron and I have been watching that every Sunday night. So good.
Are you caught up? You saw last week's episode?
Yeah. My favorite part was when they're trying to figure out who killed the baby, and Matt Smith is just like
when he threw the cup and batted the vase. Me and Hannah both went, oh. Like, my, it's just getting really hot in here. I was like, whoa!
I was like, this must be a kink for them. That's what I was like. I was like, oh boy, they're about to get into it.
I was like, Damon, don't punch her. Damon, don't punch her. Okay, good. All right, good. He didn't. He grew. He didn't put hands on her.
Do you really think Damon getting with Rihanna was just a power play, or do you think he actually loves her and wants to serve her?
So the fact that Damon couldn't get it up unless he was with a girl that looked like a Targaryen, would indicate to me that he has the hots for Rhaenyra, hardcore.
That's a good observation.
Yeah, I mean, like he literally went to a brothel, couldn't get it up, and then she was like, I can put on a blonde wig or get a blonde girl, and he was like, I'm out of here. But no, I think that he always had some sort of attraction to her, and that's the thing. It's like historical context, viewing that relationship through a historical context, married cousins all the time, aunts and nephews, uncles and nieces, very common in the Middle Ages. So it's you gotta separate the ickiness of incestual relationships from our point of view out of that. I'm not giving the Lannisters a pass. That's all brothers and sisters. I think that's pretty much always gross.
Or the Targaryen king right now. Aegon?
Yes, him and his sister. Yeah, that's not. That's. I don't. And I may be wrong, and if I am wrong, I will put a note in the video that I am wrong, because I always do that. I don't think brothers and sisters was a very common thing ever historically.
I would hope not.
And
I can see how cousins or second cousins could.
Cousins was a very normal thing in medieval times. So it's aunts and nieces. Yeah, that's pretty close, but it's not the same.
Uncle, niece, aunt, nephew. Also, no dice that.
Correct.
I don't
I would not.
I
obviously.
With Damon and Rhaenyra, I don't like that either. I mean, they're a really cool power couple. Don't get me wrong,
mm-hmm.
but I constantly have to ignore
their
relations in my brain.
So do you think that it's different with John and Danny, since they didn't grow up as like John was not a kid when Danny was a kid, vice versa, and they didn't know each other. They only knew each other.
They're cousins, right?
They're aunt and nephew.
Are they?
Yeah, because Danny's brother is John's father.
Right.
But they didn't know each other growing up, so there was no like power dynamic in that. They just knew each other as adults. And they knew each other first as non-relations relation. You know what I mean? Like, when they first met each other, they did not know that they were related to each other at all. So in my mind, I don't think it's weird.
Still too close.
Still too
I
close?
think it's weird.
Yeah, but like,
Too close.
but think about it from like the historical perspective. Like, is it that now still weird when you view it through that lens?
Yeah.
Oh, then you're just weird. You would have been considered very odd back in the day, because you probably would have married your first cousin.
That's different.
Not by much.
No, by like a whole half of a person.
Yes, but they did not know the genetic implications of that. Therefore, I don't think it's that weird. In that time. Now, totally weird, inappropriate, bad. Back then, not a big deal. Brothers, sisters, father, daughter, mother, son, always, always weird.
I feel like an equivalent metaphor or analogy here is it's like not washing your hands after pooping back then, totally okay. Super weird if you wash your hands. Now, totally gross. Totally gross, man. Gotta wash those hands.
Like, I think the weird thing,
I can't not. Even historically thinking about it that way, I can't not also think that's bad.
I think
because of what I know.
you
It's
just
like,
miss.
You didn't know about bacteria, but like just because you don't know about it doesn't mean. And okay, like if I didn't know that, yeah, I guess what you're trying to say is like if you did not know that about bacteria or anything, I guess that would be normal to you. But
here's the thing: like if a medieval person got shit on their hands, they're still washing their hands. I guarantee you, no one in the history of the universe has ever pooped on their own hands and been like, I'm just going to leave that there.
That's why they don't, like, that's why they shake with their other hand.
I think that is a misconception that you are thinking of. If you got poop on your hand, you would go find a puddle of water at minimum and be like,
look, I have seen people literally all the time, and I shame them, well, just with my eyesight, who go straight from the bathroom stall right out the door. Disgusting. And like, you know, like if you're using a urinal, fine, maybe, I guess. Like
Google. I googled it.
The whole like Superman pose.
I googled it. Yes.
Yeah.
Medieval people washed their hands, and it was an important social ritual. Washing hands before and after meals was a sign of civility, respect, power, and was commonly practiced from everyone from royalty to peasants. There says nothing about specifically washing your butt or washing your hands after they shit. But I think that is a misconception that like people think that the medieval period is like a dirty, gross place. And yes, it smelled.
How is it okay to not like wash your how is it okay to wash your hands even though you're ignorant of the implications, but it's okay for you to fuck your niece because you're ignorant of I don't know.
You brought up the washing the hands thing, and I rebutted with I think there's a misconception about medieval cleanliness, and this is a bad analogy. Pick a different analogy, and maybe I'll get on board with you. I just think
I'm retiring for the evening.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us for episode 6, in which we cover the end of the world, relationships, and Dan had to eat peppers that fucked him up. So, I don't think the podcast is going out on Wednesday this week because I have to work tomorrow, but it will be going out on Thursday at the latest. So, but tune in with us next week, next Tuesday when it's on live, and then you will see the podcast next Wednesday, the following Wednesday. I'm sorry. And hopefully I bamboozle Dan again with fun questions. And but y'all take care. Dan, always a pleasure talking with you, sir.
See you next week, Zach.